Let's take a look and see how an inventor assembly works. It really is truly an assembly. There's a bunch of parts. There's a thing that I've called a control box. There's a housing. And then there's 4 feet. One of those feet happens to be kind of back there. There it is, back there. And so it's not just a picture. It's a truly an assembled product. I take all the models and assemble them, and the reason for that is so that that with this file structure, I can get a lot of information automatically to the shop floor. I can pull out how many of these I need. I can how many of these and how many of these. I can even go in and find all the properties of each ones of those. So this creates what's called a bill of materials or a list of materials. And if I ever make a change to this foot, it will come through here. So let me just demonstrate that. Maybe I want my foot to be much longer than it is right now. So I can go to my foot and I can extrude that maybe instead of 1 inch, half an inch, I'll extrude it 3 inches so it looks remarkably different. And then I think my hole has to go all the way through. Put my hole all the way through so that it goes through. So now I've got a significantly different foot. And when I save it and go back to my assembly, look, it goes through. It's changed. Now, you can see that it didn't match up exactly how I'm interested in until I actually update it. So that's one of the reasons why you do each thing as a component and put them together. Now, that takes a little bit of thinking that when you put it together how it needs to be done. I'm going to go ahead and change this back to my half inch because I think a 3-inch tall hole there looks a little ridiculous. And again, when I come back to here, they're in the wrong place until I update it. And so that's kind of how we do a simple one and why we do these as assemblies. Now, I'm going to give you some hints in another video of how we put them together. When we assemble them, first we place the parts, and then we do what's called constraining them. We make sure that they line up appropriately like we want it to. Okay, so when you do your designs, you have to be thinking about that a little bit. In this design we're doing this week, it's not super important. But when you get into the design mode, it does become important. But we're just doing some basic ones right now. And you can see this sort of looks like a part of an oven. There's a housing and a control box, some feet. What does it still need? Needs a heating element in here, probably a shelf and a door. Right? So you want to have each of these items as a separate file, a separate component, a separate part. And when you assemble them, they all come together in one file. Okay, so that's how an inventor assembly works. Oh, let me show you just one more thing while we've got this. The other nice thing I can do is make a drawing of it. If I right click and make a drawing, and this will be on a huge piece of paper because I'm not really paying too close attention. So let's say that's going to be my main view, and then I want to project. There we go. Kind of got that. So because that drawing holds all this information, I can annotate that by doing auto balloons on this view, and I'm going to put them vertical over here. I have to add my components and then put them over here. Look at that. It does its thing for me. Isn't that Isn't that cool? It makes a little thing that says item 1, 2, and item 3. But then I want to do something called a parts list. And that all looks okay. Make it from the stuff in that view. And down here, I can see that item number 1, which is my housing, I've got one of them. Item number 2, which is my control box, got one of them. And item number 4, which is my foot. Item number 3, which is my foot, I've got 4 of them. And so this is one of the beauties of Inventor, and making each one a component. I can quickly get this information and put it in a manner that would normally be used in manufacturing. So that's the gist of how Inventor Assemblies work. And that's our goal for this week, is to create Inventor Assemblies.